Hi there, lovely. One of the main reasons that I drank for 4 decades as a grey area drinker was my lack of confidence in being able to share my own view about things, to share my voice, to share my opinion. That was mostly because I grew up in a household where my opinion was never allowed, and I was almost never allowed to even just speak. Alcohol became my voice. It allowed me to stand in the company of men in particular and share my views about things. And because I had a lot of unresolved stuff at the time, I would often come across as a bit pissy and a bit angry. And I would wake up the next day thinking, oh, God, what an idiot you are. Some of the things that you said were so ridiculous. and then I'd forget about it, and the next day have another drink and keep doing this rinse and repeat cycle that went on for years. And when I stopped drinking in 2017, it really was incredibly revealing to find myself feeling comfortable sharing my own opinion about things. And I know for many women, when you're drinking, that it's really easy to lose your voice and to lose your opinion to alcohol. And as I went on, through my sober journey, learning more about myself, eventually getting therapy to deal with the stuff, I came back to doing something that I absolutely love doing, which is writing. And when I write, I feel like I inhabit a different part of me. I just disappear into tapping the keyboard, and it just fills me with so much joy. And I found a platform about 18 months ago now called medium.com, where you share your writing and people have the opportunity to comment on it. And honestly, it's a fantastic readers and writers platform. And if that's something you're interested in, I'll share my profile link below. But obviously, when you write, I remember the first couple of pieces I put out there, I think I was nearly sick to my stomach because it just felt like such a vulnerable thing to do. And I also was scared that people would notice my very dubious relationship with commas. So it became a real kind of, shall I publish? Done. And then run away and hide. And obviously over time, my confidence has improved enormously. And I get great feedback from many of the people who regularly read my stories, and it's incredibly gratifying, and it fulfills a space in me that I genuinely never believed would ever be filled, because alcohol took so much away from me in that. But sometimes I get comments from men that are slightly dismissive, slightly sarcastic, often offering a solution you didn't ask for to a problem you weren't actually describing. It has that underlying assumption of, I know better than you. Now, obviously, that's not all men, but when I see them, my first reaction is always, oh, fuck off, will you? Just fuck right off. It drives me insane. But actually, I still surprise myself when I have this quite visceral reaction to these kind of comments. But really, this video isn't about them. It's about my reaction to it, and really how I've changed since I've become sober. Because obviously I have that initial reaction, but because of the work I do and how I do it, I always now, thanks to sobriety, have the ability to take a deep breath and think a little bit more deeply about something and give a more considered response. And it would be really easy to get on the keyboard and kind of, ranty reply and tell him what I really think of him. But, it's not going to help anything, is it? And it isn't going to make me feel better, because that's the point. When I had that really strong initial reaction, I got really angry. And me feeling angry doesn't make me feel good. And that's something in my sobriety that I have been very conscious of, that I only do things that make me feel good. And it's been really interesting kind of looking at those comments, because I've had a few, to be able to sit back and think, what do I really want to do right now? But actually to ask that question, what's the most loving thing that I can do in this situation right now? That's the philosophy of all of my work. What's the most loving thing that you can do? That's what the book's all about. It's about choosing the most loving thing for myself in every moment. And as I was thinking about my obviously quite strong reaction at the beginning, I thought, so what is the most loving thing that I can do? And I realised the answer is nothing, is to do nothing. Not because I'm afraid of responding or I don't have the words to respond. I know I do. But I don't want to put anything like that in the world from my hands. I want the whole of my sober life to be a testament to my sobriety. I want my life to mean that I do the most loving things for myself all of the time. And I genuinely don't mean this in a kind of hippy-dippy way at all. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean it in a strong, considered, what is best for me? And what is best for me when it comes to these types of comments is to say nothing. Because it doesn't matter. Because he got what he wanted by feeding his own ego. And that's all that matters, really. He can do whatever he likes with that. What matters to me is that I choose how I live. And in this instance, saying nothing works for me. I know many of you have felt that you've lost your voice. And I think alcohol helps to keep your voice small. And so if you are in that place and you feel like you want to, roar like a lioness and you want your voice to be heard, sobriety, it's not an instant fix. It does take a little bit of time to find your feet and find your foundations. But there's nothing bad in sobriety. There's nothing bad about the way I live. There's no struggle. I had a few challenges in the beginning, but being sober has become everything that I ever wanted for my life. And I would love you to come and join me if that's something that you're having a bit of a struggle with. There's a free guide that has 10 insights into the things I wish somebody had told me right at the very beginning. I wish I'd had most loving thing right at the very beginning, because that would have been really helpful. And it's free, so you can download that. And thank you for staying with me to the end. Take care.